I've been thinking about this for a while, and I've quite often thought to myself why it is that it's so much harder to parody the left than it is the right, or at least right now. Back in the 90s of the hardcore conservative Christian era, it was much, much easier to make fun of the right than it was the left. It's because the left has done something that even the right of that era couldn't do. They have effectively gone beyond parody. Now, let me explain with a little bit of a backstory on that to help you understand what I mean. There was a study or something to that effect done about a year and a half ago, which detailed how different the left and the right are now from back in about the Clinton administration days. And this was effectively how they started. You have the left and the right. Now the right, they basically stayed exactly where they are, if not shifted just slightly more to the right. Whereas the left, after the Clinton administration, they just went zoom. The left has gone here in America has gone so far left that they are further than the European left, which, if you are in Europe, that should tell you something. Or if you know anything about European politics, that should really tell you something. Now, I read a lot of sites like Onion or Babylon Bee or stuff like that, and I've noticed that the Babylon Bee effectively has, well, they do make a lot of parodies of the left. The issue is they often get proven right, because the point of parody is that you go to an extreme that would never happen in reality. You stick with the general idea a person has, but then you go to just an absolute extreme level with it that is supposed to be the joke. The issue I've noticed that the Babylon Bee has, and I think one of the reasons that Snopes keeps trying to go after them as a real site rather than a parody site, is because anytime Babylon Bee jokes about something, anywhere between a few months to a few days, the left actually does it. We've seen the extreme jumps over the years, and that's the issue. The left just keeps making extreme move after extreme move after extreme move, which is not what you're supposed to do. It's supposed to be a gradual shift. It's supposed to be slow movements that change things. And by slow, I mean a few years, not a few days. I think a good chunk of the issue is just the absolute impatience that millennials have. They think that things should be resolved instantly because that's what they're used to. They don't realize that societal change takes a while, and it takes the majority of people actually getting used to something. Hell, gay marriage took, let's be realistic, from when it was really first talked about and deemed okay in society, i.e., they weren't like hung up and killed instantly for just saying they were gay, to the point of actually getting marriage, was probably 40 years. And they're wanting a lot of these big changes on that level in a matter of 40 days or 40 weeks rather than 40 years. That, for even for as fast and accepting as society is right now, that can't happen. The prime example I always jump back to is the bathroom bill stuff. If the left had just shut up and not said anything, just these joint bathrooms, these single bathrooms would have been the norm just by themselves. They were starting to be that way all throughout the U.S., but then the left just started screaming and demanding not only those, but transgender specific bathrooms. Yes, this is a thing. I've actually looked into it. That's not something I'm making up. And then it became a political issue because they started demanding that stuff. Had they not, it just would have happened by itself. That's how we were trending. But it wasn't happening fast enough, is the problem. And the left just keeps going further and further. They keep demanding more and more. They keep going to lengths that people used to make as a joke. The slippery slope is no longer a slope, it's a solid drop. Anything that you think the left would not demand or would not do because it's just too fucking outrageous has gone. And that's why it's so hard to parody the left right now. What made me particularly realize this, what really hit home was, and I'm going to post a link to this, a Twitter post that is a bunch of parody accounts that got together. And I thought this was real at one point as well myself, because I recognized the name Inclusive Gamers, and I thought that was a charity organization or some kind of organization that actually does exist, that isn't a parody, that really does that kind of stuff. And I guess they must have had a slightly different name, because I swear this group really exists. This isn't just the parody account that's listed here. Their demands were so in line with how exaggerated and extreme the left itself is that it seemed plausible and real. And that's why so many other people thought it was real as well. You had demands like M-rated games now being 25 plus, stop making and using guns for games, that's a big one. Mandatory franchise diversity, person of color, women, LGBT. Again, these are things that the left, especially if you read sites like Kotaku and Polygon, or God forbid, Reset Era, say all the fucking time. So it's really hard to parody the left because you can't go far enough. You can't go out of what seems plausible from them. And that's the issue. And that's not a good thing. It really isn't. The left needs to effectively rein itself back in to reality. It's not healthy to be this extreme this consistently. That's what's causing a lot of the issues. That's why you see so many people just shifting away from the left and going centrist or right again, because you just go so far that people eventually have a breaking point, and they are absolutely hitting that en masse. Look no further than the peaceful riots, the peaceful burnings in cities like Portland, Seattle, all of California, etc. I'm a man that enjoys comedy. I want things to be able to go back to where we can joke that we would never go this extreme, rather than joking and then it happening within a matter of days. Again, I've said this so many times, I actually want a system where realistically we have multiple parties, but given how strong the two-party system here is in America, I at least want there to be a possibility of two parties, not one party just running away and reigning supreme. And if the left keeps going the way it is, that's what's going to happen. The right will end up winning a supermajority, because if the left keeps going at the rate it is, no one can stand them. No one will want to be on the left. and you're going to end up with a situation where they're going to get such a minority that they will let the Republicans run rampant and do whatever the hell they want. That's not good for anyone. No one party should be that powerful. That I don't care if it's the Democrats or the Republicans. No one party should be that powerful. This has been Math Machine just ranting that you remember when humor used to be a thing? Because I'm a member. The good old member berries. Peace out.